Good evening and welcome to Information Please, your Peoria Public Library on the air, and bring you information about your library and your community. And this evening my guest is Dr. Martin Dickey from Trinity Lutheran Church, and he's here to talk about Peoria's Bach Festival. Good evening.
Good evening.
So glad you could take time out from rehearsing to come.
Oh.
This is such a wonderful event, and I don't think enough people know about it, but any true music lover, and we have a lot of them coming to the library, will want to know about this. So can you just start off by telling me a little bit about what this is and when it is?
Well, this is a week-long series of events. It actually started back in 2003, and so this is actually going to be our 12th season.
Wonderful.
And back in 2003, it was just one concert, a Saturday evening concert. Dr. John Jost, Director of Choral Activities at Bradley University, and I came to Peoria in 2002 as a Director of Music for Trinity Lutheran Church, and then the accompanist for our choir, Carol Wessler, introduced Dr. Jost to me, and we had this common interest in the music of Bach, and he had always also wanted to do some kind of big festival like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so in 2003, since it was our first one and we put it together in a few months, we just did one concert, and then I said to him, if we're going to put all this effort into it, then we should take at least one of the pieces and put it into a church service as well, because Bach's sacred music was written for church services originally. And so he agreed, and so then we did Sunday morning worship service, and then since then it's grown into this week-long events. First full week of June, so this year June 2,
it starts
2nd
then.
of June to June 8th,
right,
with the closing with the festival worship services.
Yeah, and we're gonna go over all these events, and of course people can also find this on your website, and we'll have this up on the library on YouTube, so they'll be able to find it that way.
Right, www.peoriabachfestival.org.
Yeah, easy to find. We'll make sure people see that and know about it. But why is it at Trinity Lutheran Church? Why is that the place to hold it rather than, the Civic Center or somewhere?
Well, Bach. Bach he and his music are really a part of our cultural and spiritual heritage as Lutheran Christians. I'm a Lutheran church musician, and Bach was a Lutheran church musician, and so it actually works better in a smaller facility. And our church actually is a little bit larger than a lot of churches.
Yeah.
We have it's a Gothic style. The acoustics are about 2 or 3 second reverb, so it's really perfect for this kind of music. So it's large enough to hold a good sized audience, but small enough to
not lose the sound
and
the
the
music,
intimate nature of the music,
the feeling of it.
And then, like I say, his sacred music. Then the church is the place for that. So
it all works well. Yeah. And of course, people who don't attend the church are more than welcome. This is open to the public,
absolutely.
Correct? Where is the church? How can people find it?
Yeah, we're up the hill from Peoria on Hamilton Avenue, so just north of Methodist Hospital, and so just south of 74. We're a little bit hidden because we're in a kind of a triangular block. So North Street is on one side, Hamilton, and then Randolph Avenue, but we're only about 10 or 12 blocks away from Bradley University, So that's one of the reasons we wanted to collaborate with them. And over the years, we've established this wonderful collaboration with their music department for not only the Peoria Bach Festival, but also then the Trinity Concert Series, which we do throughout the year.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back to talk about that.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the wonderful music that goes on year long. So it's if you are on Main Street or on Hamilton, you can take North Street, you can take Hamilton straight up. What about parking? Where do people park? That's always a big concern when people talk about downtown Peoria. Where am I going to put my car?
Well, we have a large parking lot behind the church, just off of North Street and off of Randolph Street, and then there's also street parking, and also on The evenings, Methodist Hospital also allows us to use the parking lot that's just across from us on Randolph.
Okay, so plenty of places to park and safe and well lit, and people don't need to worry about that. I know we encounter that a lot with people are afraid to come to the library at night. You know,
it's
in
free
the evening.
parking.
Yeah, free, doesn't cost anything. So, okay, you start off on Monday, June 2nd at 12:05 p.m. with the Bach at Noon annual Young Artists Recital, and this is free. I'm not sure that this is a Young Artist Recital, but this is what inside the church, what things look like. And so what happens at that Young Artist Recital? Who participates?
Well, one of the things about Bach and his music is that, you know, anybody that's learning any musical instrument will at some point in time study Bach, even the littlest, you know, kids with their Suzuki violins, or, you know, some little kid, you know, who's, you know, isn't even taller than the piano yet, you know.
and they're playing Bach.
And they have to climb up to the bench. And so we came up with this idea, I think our second or third year, of encouraging the young musicians and making them a part of the festival. And so, in fact, if there's any young musicians out there that want to perform or have teachers want to perform, you know, go up to our website and there's an application form and they can apply. And, but yeah, little kids from, you know, very youngest ages to, you know, I mean, ages 5 and 6 or whatever up through high school is usually what that concert's for.
Great. Okay. And that's free. Anybody can come. And the next day, on Tuesday, June 3rd, you have Bach at Noon with Marcia and Friends, featuring Marcia Henry Libenow on violin. Tell us about this.
Well, Marcia is a string professor at Bradley University and also concertmaster of the Peoria Symphony Orchestra. And she's been a big part of our collaboration with Bradley University over the years. And so we like to feature her whenever we can. And she's putting together a program where she's having some of her musical friends come and doing some of Bach's chamber music.
Nice. That'll be very nice. And of course, free, you can't beat it. You know? Eat your sandwich at your desk. And if you work downtown and pop in for a really lovely, lovely lunch hour. Okay, then Wednesday, June 2nd, things look like they're starting to really heat up here, where we've got also free Bach at Noon music for pipe and strings. And who will play for that?
Well, this is kind of our college-age young artists recital. We have kind of started that the last few years just because we've been doing this now since 2003, so over 10 years. And so now the children who played on our young artist concert are now in college.
Yeah.
And so, and they're learning even more advanced music of Bach, you know, especially the string players, because he has these unaccompanied cello suites, 6 of them, 6 unaccompanied violin suites. And so any violinist or cellist who really wants to master their instrument, you know,
that's what they're playing.
And so this year, Courtney Silver, who has been a student of Marcia Henry Libenow and also Emily Holmes Hicks, who was another one who grew up here in Peoria, got her initial music. This is one of the wonderful things about this festival. There's so much musical talent here, you know, and so we are using that musical talent. Plus, there's young adults who grew up here, got their initial musical training here in Suzuki programs or whatever, and then also at Bradley University, and string players with Marcia Henry Libenow, for instance, and then have gone on and done advanced degrees, some at Indiana University, I mean the big name schools, Eastman School of Music, and you know, different places like that, and now are have their own careers, but now we're able to bring them back for this festival.
Yeah, they're glad to come home.
And so anyway, and Emily has been playing with us, you know, since the beginning anyway, but Courtney studied with her, and so this is a way also then to encourage the college-age kids and also adults who are learning, giving them an opportunity to be a part of the festival.
That's wonderful. And then at Wednesday, June 4th at 4, we've got Hey Kids, Meet Mr. Bach. Bach Goes to Space.
Yeah.
We've got the takeoff here, and you're in there, right?
Right.
Now this one, there's a small admission fee of $250, but that's not very much. And at 4 o'clock, so you could come straight after school. What's going to happen at this?
Well, I was strongly influenced when I was a child by being exposed to this type of music. My parents had some records of the Brandenburg concertos, and I would play them all the time, and they're just so full of joy. I'd dance around the room and so on and so forth, and so something that I want to share with the younger kids as well. And so quite a few years ago, we came up with this crazy idea of dressing up like Bach and doing different programs. And so this is actually a repeat program of one we did in earlier years. Okay. But yeah, Bach's music is actually, well, it's past the heliosphere right now. It's way off in space.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a map here of where it's gone.
It's actually on 2 spacecrafts, the Voyager 1 and the Voyager 2.
Wow.
And then this was, they wanted to include on the spacecraft, in case there were any aliens out there, you know, some information about Earth in a recording of
and that's
sounds
what
of Earth,
the golden record.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, you can. There's a website devoted actually to the golden record, and where I pulled off actually a lot of the information for the program, and
well, that's fun.
Played you know, some of the music that's on there. So that's going to be talking all about that, and then right at the end, I think there's going to be a rehearsal going on at that time, and so we'll go in and kind of listen to rehearsal, and then right at the end, maybe if the rehearsal ends a little in time, we might even have the kids crawl inside the pipe organ, the big pipe organ in the back of the church.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Fun. That's a lot of fun. And there you are.
Yeah.
We won't tell that to you. What's Mr. Bach? What age children is this appropriate for?
Oh, well, I think, you know, at least age, you know, 4 and up. But, you know, I think most kids will get something out of it, if not just the excitement of the
being there
and
the music. Yeah, even babies and toddlers like music, and I think we're pretty tolerant at with kids. Places
I think any age really.
Yeah, any age would enjoy this, and so that'd be a nice, fun family thing. How long does the program last?
Just an hour.
Just an hour.
4 to 5.
4 to 5, and you're off for go home for dinner or go out to eat or something. That's wonderful. Okay, then on Thursday, June 5th, you have Bach's Lunch. Free, call to reserve a lunch. So what's that all about?
Well, we used to call it Lunch with Bach, and then someone a few years ago said, you should call it Bach's Lunch, and not B-O-X lunch, but B-A-C-H apostrophe S. But anyway, that's just a chance for us informally to get together with people and discuss different aspects about Bach, but most of all just preparing people for the big concerts for the weekend and discussing some of the themes in those concerts. And in many cases we're doing music that has text to it, and we perform it most of the time in German. And so we like to give people an opportunity to go through the words and discuss, you know, what they mean. And
Well, we're going to end this show with a little clip from one of your YouTube videos where they're singing in German, but they do have the translation in English, so that's nice. Okay, and then on Thursday, June 5th at 5:30, you have your chamber concert, which is free, and that's featuring Stephen Altop on harpsichord and Josephine
Stoppelenberg.
All right, I'm going to try that one. Soprano.
Yeah, these are musicians actually from Chicago, and Stephen Altop, he teaches at Northwestern University in Evanston, but then he's also a harpsichordist and organist for the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. He's a choral conductor too, so he directs the Apollo Chorus, and then he also directs 2 other orchestras, one in Chicago and one in Champaign. So we're just fortunate that, and he was trained at Eastman School of Music, so, and John Jost knows him from I think the American Choral Directors Association, and so He's going to come down with his wife, and his wife is a Baroque specialist, singing specialist, soprano. And so
kind of a real treat to have these folks come to Peoria.
Yeah, and she is phenomenal. I mean, she can really, she really knows the style and very virtuosic.
Wow, that's exciting. And then at 6:30, you have coffee with Bach.
Yeah, the following day.
I think I skipped, didn't I? I skipped your Friday at noon.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, Friday at noon, there's still another free with Stephen Altop on organ. Free.
Right, yeah, and this is something that actually Stephen volunteered to do. We were going to bring him down for mainly the chamber concert on Thursday evening and then the Friday evening coffee concert, but he said, hey, you want me to do an organ concert? Sure.
Sure, why not?
So,
how long do these noon concerts last?
They last only about an hour, anywhere from, sometimes 45 minutes to usually no more than an hour.
Yeah, so people, if they have a lunch hour downtown, can make it and probably get back to work. That's great. Okay, then coffee with Bach is 6:30 on Friday, June 6th.
Yeah, this Friday evening is when we do what we call our coffee concert. This is something that we started, gosh, when was it, 2006 or 2007? But Bach, when he was a music director for the churches in Leipzig, he also directed an orchestra that played regularly at the Zimmerman Coffee House near the church.
Okay.
And so that would be like playing down at Starbucks or 3030.
Playing at 3030.
Or Broken Tree or something like that.
Wonderful.
And and in fact, he then wrote this, most of his cantatas are sacred cantatas intended for the church services, but he wrote a few secular cantatas, one of which was a coffee cantata, which is this funny story about this young woman who is addicted to coffee.
I know a few of those.
Her father is trying to get her to, try to break her of this addiction, and then also wants her to get married. And so anyway, it's kind of a funny story. So we initiated or inaugurated these coffee concerts with the performance of that cantata, and so then we've done a coffee concert then every Friday of the Bach Festival week, and
nice.
So in some cases, we'll do choral works and sacred cantatas on those concerts, although, Bach with his orchestra probably did mostly instrumental music. And so this year, it's going to be primarily, in fact, exclusively instrumental concerts. So Stephen Altop is going to actually conduct from the harpsichord. He's bringing his own harpsichord down. And so he'll be conducting from the harpsichord, which is probably how Bach did it, unless, or if he had someone else play the harpsichord, maybe his sons or whatever, he would have probably been playing the violin and directing as a violinist. But anyway, you'll get kind of an idea of how it might have been done back at that time. But
how that would work,
But we're doing, he's going to do some music by Bach, and then also some Telemann. Bach and Telemann had a close relationship.
Okay, and that's this, the concert that's at 8 o'clock on Friday. And that one, there is an admission charge. It's $16 for adults and $10 for students,
right.
But not much money considering what you're going to get to see.
Right, right.
Yeah, and so if you come to that, the coffee with Bach and the pre-concert lecture, which is at 7:15, those are all free, and then those all, your tickets at 8 for the coffee concert. So you can spend the whole evening there. Start off at 6:30. And how long does this concert run? It starts at 8.
Oh, it'll be about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes.
Okay. So out by 10. People just like to know when they're going to get home.
Right.
Range for babysitting or dog sitting or whatever. Okay. Well, and so then that leads into Saturday, which I'm not sure what you consider to be the peak moment of this whole event, since it runs all these days. But is it Saturday, June 7th, when we have the festival concert? Is that the big moment, or is Friday just as big?
Friday's just as big. I mean, it all leads up to Friday and Saturday, and then it really concludes then with Sunday, where we take one of the cantatas and then, put it then into worship service. So then for us, that's really the main as a church body, that's really
Yeah.
the main thing.
Yeah, is
The
to be able to
services
put
at
it
8
into
and
the service.
10:45, but so really it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on the Saturday concert, then we'll be featuring that's a concert exclusively of sacred music, motet, Come Jesu Come, Come Jesus Come, and then a solo cantata, and then O Ewiges Feuer, O Eternal Fire, Cantata 34, which is a cantata for Pentecost Sunday, that was what it was originally written for. And then it turns out then the reason we chose it, because then the next Sunday, June 8th, is Pentecost Sunday.
So it actually works out that you'll be playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So all of these things, almost the whole week is free, just $16 admission charge for the Friday big concert, and Saturday night $16 charge for the big concert then. But then afterwards you have a reception to meet the musicians.
Yes, on Saturday evening, just to thank the musicians for all their time and effort in their music.
Yeah, and I know people love to meet the people behind, when people have created something, whether it's visual arts or music, it always is so enlightening to be able to talk to and meet the people who made it happen. We see that at the library every month. We do our gallery exhibits, and we always have a reception when you can come and talk to the artists and ask them about their work or chat with them.
And you find out they're just ordinary people.
Yeah, that's what they do. They have that wonderful talent. And then, of course, on Sunday, June 8th at 8 and 10:45, you have the festival worship services. And people who are not members of the church are invited to come, correct?
Absolutely, and we also will sing, some of the hymns that Bach, for instance, would have sung back in his day, so you get a real idea of, what it might have been like.
What it was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and here you sent me a portrait of Mr. Bach, so can we talk a little bit about him? There are people who don't know.
Oh, yeah, well, he was born in 1685 in Germany. His mother and father died when he was young, but through his life, though, his whole family was inclined towards music, and in his day and age, through his career, he was actually not known so much as a composer, but primarily as an organist. He died in 1750, but now he's revered mostly as a composer and for his music, and people still and will, until the Lord returns, be studying and playing his music, because it is just so well crafted, so full of pathos, joy and grief and sorrow. I mean, going through all the human emotions, and then also there's just such a depth, especially to his sacred music, because he not only was, this great composer, but he was also a great man of faith. I mean, when he died, they did an inventory of his belongings, because he didn't have a will, and that's a lesson for all of you.
Yes.
And one of the things they discovered then by looking through that inventory is that he had 80 theological books in his library.
And for that time, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, when you think about it. And in fact, one of the most famous and most important books for him was his Bible, which actually, there's a story behind, a long story behind that. Is the Bible is somehow made it from when he died in 1750. It was willed to his wife, Anna Magdalena. Somehow it made its way to Frankenmuth, Michigan, a farmhouse in Frankenmuth, Michigan, and now is in Concordia Seminary Library in St. Louis, Missouri.
That's pretty amazing.
And so that's an amazing story in and of itself.
Yeah. I have a little map of Germany. I don't know if you can tell us the names of where.
Yeah, Bach was in Leipzig. That was his main career. He also worked in Weimar for a while, and so it's in that area that he spent most of his time. For a little time, he was up in Hamburg, or near Hamburg, when he was a young boy going to school. But otherwise, most of his time was in that Leipzig, Weimar area. that we know that he traveled to Dresden every now and then to talk to composers and go to the opera house and that kind of thing, play concerts.
Right. And of course, anybody who's interested, from the little bit of information you've given them here, we've got plenty of resources at the library. Come check out some books, check out some CDs. You can listen to his music and get ready for this. But thank you so much for being on. We're going to end our show this evening with a little clip from your YouTube channel. So you want to sit back and watch about a minute of what this will be like. And certainly come to Trinity Lutheran Church from June 2nd to June 8th to enjoy all these wonderful Bach Festival concerts. Thank you, and we'll see you next week on Information Please.